welcome Flyffers. So yesterday during stream I received tons and tons of requests to make a video about the upcoming summer 2022 content update for Flyff Universe. Well, and here we are. So first up is going to be a new continent. This time Azria will not be a premium area, so it will be free to use and it will host all the monsters that you need to reach level 140. Also important to note is that there's going to be new quest lines available, and what I personally do not like about this update at all, it feels like they are cheap recycling old content rather than creating some new experience. And I think the nostalgia part about the game is it was already there, and no matter what they are bringing, if they're bringing new content and stuff that is recycled, it's not keeping this nostalgia up. I would prefer to see something more new and unique and not just like a copy paste of PC Flyff. But what I really like about this is that they're adding new quest lines, because when you're grinding Flyff Universe, you will realize that once you hit about 106, the amount of possible quests will strictly decline, and all you have left is probably 2 more quests, and that's it. This makes the end grind pretty boring, and yeah, basically stucks you to grinding only, without having any alternatives or making the game more dynamic. So if those quest lines are well designed and are not like only from 120 to 130 and then stop for the rest of the 10 levels, that would be amazing. Now we have the Volcane Dungeon, also with new quest lines, loving that again, really good. Then we have a new red Meteoniker boss. I hope this boss is really new and not just some kind of revamp of the old one, since we already have this in the mystical weapon farm area. And please give me a boss this time that actually needs a correct team setup. So with correct team setup, I mean you need a really good geared tank to actually be able to tank it. You need ringmasters to heal this tank to benefit it. The boss should have different mechanics that you're supposed to be dodging to make it more challenging, and to not have like a pretty straightforward lineup and get a good mix between melee and melee classes that are doing physical damage and mage classes that are doing magic damage. I would prefer that the boss would be spawning some kind of random objects, pyramids, totems, whatever Flyff has to offer, and they can only be killed by a certain damage type. And while those kind of objects are up, the boss would deal more damage. So this way you have a real good dynamic. You need to be a full 8-man team that communicates well together and to clear the dungeon, and it's not like some AFK killing that will get boring over time. So I really hope they're putting a lot of thought into this boss design, because many people, especially from my community, are currently complaining that the dungeons are really easy, they are solo killable, and yeah, that's not how endgame dungeons should be supposed to be. Now, new bloody equipment. I love it. For me, bloody weapons are some of the best looking in the game. So since we do not know anything about the stats yet, I hope they are not going a linear direction. With linear direction, I mean that they are putting like 1 weapon out for each class and 1 set. And that's it, because there's many different playstyles. And I think every update should cover sets for all different playstyles. So for example, they could be adding a bloody build poster assault set and a bloody build poster 1v1 set, for example, instead of like only going with a bloody build poster 1v1 set and that's it. Because this way they also balance out the fact that some classes will have to redo their equipment to be staying relevant in the new upcoming patch, and some classes don't. And if they always release for every playstyle a new set with new effects that are better than the old ones, then it's the same and balanced for every class, and no class has an advantage due to them not needing to spend as much Penya. Now, let's finish it up with the race pets. This is probably a heavy discussed topic, especially since the costs of the perfect pets on Flyff PC were enormous and crazy, and it was not even hard and expensive to get them. It was also expensive to maintain them and keep them alive. And they actually tackled this issue pretty well with having no rerolls and no pet health. But on the other hand, a PC Flyff pet was giving 75 stats, and here we are talking about 7 stat pets. So 7 stat pets are, I don't know, almost not worth mentioning. Those stats are not really relevant, but we are just like at an assumption phase here. So there's pet skins. Maybe those pet skins will have some kinds of stats or whatever that you can add to those pets. I hope they will be permanent and not like another cash cow, so they get like every 7 or 15 days new cash from us, because the monthly maintained cost of the cash shop is already pretty expensive. Then we are having the harvesting system. I would guess it's some kind of competitive system to the catchers that might be used to do the pet candy crafting system right here. And it could be that it's like herbs that are growing around on the on Madrigal, and you can go there with your little snip snap and gather those herbs to then be crafting pet candy. And yeah, my assumptions for pet candy, it can either be some kind of candy that you actually need to evolve your stat pets so they're getting stronger and even reach the 7 stat pet phase, or it could also be that those candies are just some passive effects that you can put on your pet to make it stronger, and I would definitely prefer the second option right there. So but just to sum it up, like all I said was basically assumptions. I do not have any inside infos. This was just my opinion on what I would like to see and what I would like to rather see in the future. And that would definitely be not having like only recycled content with like not as much effort on the first look to it, than just like bringing new content that is maybe a bit different and may be inspired by private servers. Because something that is currently definitely missing is an in-game switch tool to finally settle the debate and make it equally for all PvP players. Because at the moment, some players are following the terms of servers and do not use a macro, while other players are using a macro and getting an advantage but are not getting banned for it. So if they would just introduce an in-game switch tool and you could only be using this in-game switch tool, nothing else, then there would be a balance, and they wouldn't even have to take care of like the reports players are sending and such if they catch someone like switching with a macro or whatever. And also it would be balanced out between players that might do not have the technology or the knowledge to set up a really fast low delay switch compared to someone that is just using something that he found on the internet that is maybe not optimized for a Flyff PvP and probably not for his ping. So I would really like to see this balance change for PvP that is actually more like a system based thing. And while we're at it, God, remove those statues from Siege, man. Those are so annoying and serve no purpose. It's just making the game less dynamic. Well, that's it for today. I hope you liked it. If you have different opinions on stuff, leave it in the comments and we can discuss it. And don't forget to subscribe. Cheers.